The views and opinions of the host do not necessarily represent the views and opinions of the BAIO, the Black African Infrastructure Organization.
Once again, it's on BIO Solution Sessions. Shout out to Holub, Kyla, Dawood, John, Chef Rob, Earl, Neo, and Jelani in the mix. Things going a little different tonight. I'm actually going to have to do this on the mobile side of the game just because traveling, seeing friends, family, all that good stuff. Definitely have to say shout out to, once again, Holub, Kala, Earl, Dawood, John, Shalani, Neo, Chef Rob. I don't know if you guys heard me. My phone temporarily went into Bluetooth mode, so just want to make sure I said that again. On once again, back bringing you the latest information. Just want to make sure that we start the new year off right. So I know it's a controversial topic, but I just felt like I had to get that off my chest because we get a lot of people pontificating about the virtues of a four-year education. And, you know, that paradigm kind of needs to change, mainly because times have changed, the economy has changed, people's expectations of, you know, what their professional expertise should come from and what it should look like has changed because when you talk about a four-year education, in many cases, you know, the only time you really need a four-year education is when you're looking at, say, for instance, a degree that is highly specialized, technical in nature, like a CPA or accountant, okay? They have to go to school for 4 years to become a CPA. You have to have the professional experience, the education, a doctor, of course. Nurses, not necessarily, because you can be a nurse in 2 years because all it is core courses. You don't need a 4-year degree. They're trying to make more people get 4-year nursing degrees. And, in fact, to become a nurse practitioner, you're going to have a PhD. So at that point, you might as well become a doctor, right? Engineers, you know, you're going to need a 4-year degree. But for a business degree, do you really need 4 years to know how to do business or understand certain principles of business? Now, if you want to be an economist or a statistician, different story, right? So the reason I came up to this conclusion is because the more and more research that's being done, we have to look at not just prestige that goes along with a job, right? To me, that's not important. I look at the return on investment from education. And here's what I mean, okay? So the median income in the United States is around $50,000, give or take, right? Most people who graduate from college, unless they're in a highly specialized professional field, don't make $50,000. They're probably in the mid-30s to 40s, okay? Now, if you go to school and amass the average student loan debt now is well over like $40,000. But, you know, there's some people who have as much as $100,000 from 4 years of school. So if you come out of school with $100,000 in debt, and let's say you do make the median income of $50,000, you have 2 times the amount of debt that you have in income, right? Now, if you go to a place like Charlotte, for instance, where Central Piedmont Community College is one of the largest and considered one of the best local community colleges in the United States because they have very close ties with the business community because they put out a quality product in their students, okay? Now, one of the things that they've actually done at Central Piedmont Community College, they basically have agreements with the large institutions. They went and received the same accreditation that Duke, UNC has, and Western Carolina and Eastern Carolina. So they have the exact same accreditation. So what happens is when someone graduates from CPCC, they can take all their credits and now go to any of these schools that accept them and get 100% of their credits transferred and not get the runaround and the the gobbledygook that they was given, years ago, telling them that, oh, well, technically we can't take this because, it's not the same quality of accreditation. They got around all that by making sure they got the same accreditation. Fast forward, and now, you can make the case that 2-year school and you get a highly specialized technical degree in a career field that's in high demand, your return on investment far exceeds that of a 4-year institution. So, case in point, this is a real world scenario too, by the way. I'm going to describe to you. This is absolutely mind blowing. So, I did a show on this actually. If you go back, we talked about this at one of the very first shows of Solution Sessions, okay? So, we talked about getting certified, getting dignified, right? And the reason I said that is because in a lot of cases, people don't realize this, but to become a professional, it's a matter of licensing in a lot of cases. So if you're working at McDonald's and you got a clean record and you haven't gotten any major trouble, you can usually go pass an insurance test, become a licensed insurance agent. Everyone pretty much agrees with the notion of licensing makes you a professional. Like, if someone knows you're an insurance agent, they'll say, oh, okay, they'll consider you a professional by virtue of you have to pass the test to get a license. It is what it is. I mean, you don't have to go to school for 4 years for it, even though they actually have certifications in actuarial science and stuff like that, but that's if you're on the number cruncher side of the game. If you're like a person who wants to be a peanut counter, bean counter, whatever you call it. But just getting that license affords you the opportunity to be able to say, okay, well, I'm a professional now, right? It sounds crazy, but it is what it is. So I bumped into a gentleman, just recently, and he was in my car. We were talking about, what I do, what he does, and we were going a pretty far distance. So I didn't, pay any attention to it. He was able to afford it. Obviously, it was about a 50-minute ride. It cost a pretty penny. Bottom line is that, he starts telling me about what he does. And so I'm listening to this guy, and he's telling me that, well, I ultrasound on marine wells. I'm an inspector. Okay, so, he gives me more information, okay? So we start to talk. He said, well, I was in a business field, and I lost my job about 5 years ago. I asked a friend of the family who just so happened to be the president of CPCC. And he said, well, there actually is an opportunity for you potentially, but you'll have to go back to school. And he said, but once you graduate, within a year, there'll be a job waiting for you over 6 figures. Now, the reason it was only a year because he had a 4-year degree. So since he had a 4-year degree, all his prerequisites were met in general education requirements, so all he had to do was take the core courses for this particular skill. Okay? Now, fast forward, he's been doing it for 5 years. He works 5 to 6 months out of the year, and he makes over $125,000 a year. Now, I want to repeat that. So if he would work a full year, he probably could make $250K easily. But because he's still new in the game, 5 years in, sort of, he can command more money later once he's got a probably good solid 7 to 10. But he's only 28 years old, 29 years old, something like that. So he's making great money and only, have to work 5 months, 6 months out of the year, and he's able to spend time with his wife most of the time, okay? So the name of this particular course of study that they actually offer at a lot of community colleges is non-destructive examiner. So what it is when people go underwater to do welds, underwater welds, like for instance in the oil and gas industry, there's people who have to go underwater to weld things back together if there's any, or if they're making repairs or they're building something. So the person who does the work is there, who's a welder. They're making like similar money. He's the guy who just sits there and according to what he tells me, of course, is I don't believe the guy's lying, but basically he's sitting back on his iPad and, you know, just like, okay, looks good, you know, that type of deal, making, you know, stupid money per hour, $100 per hour, whatever they're getting paid, right? And so it sounds crazy, but, you know, he made a really great point. He said, you know, people are looking for 4-year degrees, and the money's not even there. The money is in the technical trades that they don't even tell you about, and you have to go online to the Department of Labor. A lot of stuff is on the Department of Labor, and I actually talked about this, going to the Department of Labor, finding out where the high demand fields and getting into a course of study that supports that, you know? And so that's why I said, you know, fuck a 4-year degree. You know, if I had to advise a kid right now, fuck a 4-year degree. You can go to school for a skill that you could be done with in 2 years, and nursing included, because you don't, right now, you don't need a 4-year degree for nursing. Get a 2-year degree. Now, the hustle is you get in, do the 2-year degree, right? But then you can go to your employer and say, hey, you know, pay for my school. Tuition reimbursement, tuition assistance. Hello. So now you get the skill, you get the job, you get the work experience, then you go and get your degree and let them pay for it. Okay? So that's what I said, fuck a 4-year degree in context for the masses, because, and the reason I say it is because the majority of people, realistically speaking, you know, probably don't care to go to a 4-year university for the social experience, right? Because that's really what a 4-year liberal arts college is supposed to do. It's supposed to broaden your world horizon, exchange ideas, all that bullshit. You know what? Show me the bread. I mean, once you get to a certain level of income, if you want to change your circle, whatever, but you know, all that other stuff is just, you know, pomp and circumstance and bullshit. So the bottom line is this. You know, when you look at the return on investment, so this kid, he probably paid maximum $8,000 to $10,000, including all his books and everything, right? And it wasn't even that much because he only went for a year. So I'm going to give you that based on, so $10,000 max for books and everything for a 2-year program. For a 1-year program, it's probably more like, you know, $5,500, okay, whatever. Long story short, okay, he came out making a job that's really worth over $200,000, but he just uses the work, you know, because he wants that balance. Because and I have to preface this with, it is somewhat dangerous work because you are underwater for periods of time that most people aren't, and you have to go through decompression. But you know, just to put that out there. But I mean, obviously, you know, it's being done and it's being done safely. But that's just one example of how you can go and make it your business to just do a little bit of research and find out a way to improve your life. Will you have to travel? Yes. But so what? You know what I mean? Like, I've never understood that sometimes. I understand people say, well, it's all about family, but what good are you to your family if they're fucking struggling, dude? Like, really? You're making $8 an hour. You know, you got the love of your woman, but she's fucking frustrated. Your kids, you know, going to a shitty school in a neighborhood that you really don't like, but it's the best you could do. Dude, get over that shit. You know what? Your wife will support you. If it means that you're going to be able to put her in a better situation as your children, she'll deal with it. I can't name one woman that says, you know what, baby, I want to keep making this money that I can barely pay my bills with just so we can be close to each other. She will be like, you know what, baby, I'll be right here. She'll keep that coochie nice and warm for you. She's going to be nice and fresh when you able to buy a little bit better stuff for her bedroom game while you out there getting that bread. And as long as you do what you're supposed to do, if she a real chick, she going to hold you down. But if she not, you know, if she that thirsty and she got to feel like, oh, I got to, you know, I can't have my man be away from me for more than a week, you know, whatever how long it is, you know, she ain't really for you. That's another story for another day, right? But the bottom line is that this is just one of so many ways. I mean, it was mind-blowing to hear this. And I went and did the research. I was like, wow, there actually is a degree program that, now here's the thing. These types of programs often have high demand for people who are in the know. Like, there's this one degree program for people who do, it's a degree in the diploma program where I think you can get the diploma inside of a year. The degree is a 2-year course of study. But basically, it has to do with the people who do, like, the sonograms and stuff for your heart and stuff, to use that equipment and interpret it. And I want to say that, it was a similar situation. You might spend a couple $1,000s, but you'd come out making like 40 or close to it. Once again, so a 2-year commitment, maybe $8,000 to $10,000 expense, making 4 times what you invested for that, versus going to school for a 4-year degree, moderately priced, public school, out-of-state tuition, because your best deals are going to be in-state tuition public. But let's say you want to go to the school like, just like, let's first, A&T is a public school, supported by the state of North Carolina, but if you get out-of-state tuition, you're screwed. They're going to charge you. I mean, so you might end up with like $75,000 in the hole, unless you get some scholarship money, which we talked about that too, right? Finding ways to finance our education efficiently without using up a bunch of resources. So, this was an eye-opening experience. I don't know if people have called in just because I'm doing this through my phone. I'm not able to see into the phone queue because, like I said, I'm driving. I wanted to at least be able to provide content as we promised to do on a close to daily basis. We appreciate everyone listening and providing feedback, constructive criticism, and everything. But this was like really something that I've been talking about this for the longest. But I said I was going to do a show about it. Getting ready to go into the New Year's, so it's time to get our minds right on this. So, one of the biggest things with education is the stories about the student loan bubble that's approaching. Okay, I mean, we got $1 trillion of student loan debts. It's an obscene amount of money, right, for student loans. And the thing is, the reason that these places charge the amount of money that they're able to charge is because student loans exist. So, the dirty little secret behind how the United States works is that the reason you have the ability to be upwardly mobile besides your income and education is debt. Because, see, someone in this country, they have one advantage over someone who's poor in another country. Even if you're poor in this country but you manage your debt effectively, you'll get an opportunity. And as long as you have the income, as your income goes up, you'll be able to get the amount of debt that goes with that income, right? But even now, like if you want to get ahead and you want to get a manageable house and that manageable house payment, you'll get that opportunity for the most part, okay? But in another country, like I've heard stories about India. I've never been to India, but according to what the people who come from India tell me is that it's easier for them to get credit here, of course, in the United States because you're a student. Students are looked at favorably because they're trying to ascend. And in their home country, they don't give a fuck about that. Like, if you're poor, especially when they're, the caste system is, they're trying to do away with it, but it still kind of exists. It's certain. So if you're poor, right, they basically don't trust you to lend you money. So you end up having to go through like micro loans, and you got to go through the sucker route, right? Go through the micro loans. You know what I mean? So it's one of those situations where the people who have control of the resources have deemed you unworthy of a loan. So you got to go through the micro loans and stuff like that, and you get $500 and pay it back in a timely fashion so you can get a bigger loan, and which of course makes sense. Make sure it's manageable and make sure people can be successful. But that's the facts of life. Here, like I said, you can be someone who makes $22,000 a year, and you got a small credit card that someone will approve you for. And if you manage that credit card, your credit score goes up. You'll get more credit. You get more credit. And, And then and if you haven't like abused the system and you get it over your head, guess what? There's always bankruptcy, right? So, sounds horrible, but it's the truth. So when we look at
Thomas.
Yeah.
What's up? This is Hollow.
Hey. Yeah, what's up,
I got you. I'm manning the chat for you, so whatever you want to do.
All right,
I know you're on the road.
Yeah, my parents came down, so my father came down, my mom's came down, so well, not to confuse anyone, but that's my parents that raised me, so but yeah, they both came down, so I had to go out. I had to go and see them. I'm down in Charleston. I'm on my way back up to Charlotte, so yeah. But see, that shows the commitment, son. We get it done on the road.
That's right. By any means necessary.
By any means. So what do you think about that? Fuck a 4-year degree. What?
Yeah, it's been that way for a while. I remember when we were coming up, that used to be the deal. Like, they say, oh, get your 4-year degree, da-da-da-da. And remember how they used to look down on trades? Remember that? Like, if you went to trade school or whatever, they looked down on that. Now, the people that went to trade school is caking out. The people that's doing liberal arts is working in, Starbucks.
Now, here's the thing. You ready for this? A lot of those people who were Occupy Wall Street were the people who went to school for finger painting 101 and English. Mm-hmm. And then wondering why they can't get a job. I got a 4-year degree. But, what technical skill did you learn? I learned how to write in cursive fast. You know what I mean? Like, dude, what the fuck you doing, man? Like, for real, like, every people that go to school and they get the bullshit degrees. And I'm not diminishing their intellect, but, like, they go to school primarily because they're pressured. Now, I can only speak for the people I know. My parents never did this to me, right? But I know people that their parents told them that, either you go into school or you go into service. Mm-hmm. Or at 18, you got to get the fuck out of my house. And even now, I even hear people telling their kids that's not realizing the economy has changed. It's not uncommon that Caucasian children are supported by their parents up into their mid-20s. Mm-hmm. Because they realize that the economy has changed. They realize that they just can't send them out to the wolves like that.
Longer than that, actually.
Things like we haven't evolved, or we haven't looked at things, for what they are in the present moment, thinking, well, if I did it, you should be able to do it, but the times are different. We haven't, like I said, because we don't have infrastructure or foundation for these children, what do they have to look forward to? Because, you go to a job situation, right? Mm-hmm. Most of us aren't in positions of authorities to really affect change to say, okay, we're going to truly look to hire this many people of color, right? That's why I never really got into the whole fraternity sorority thing because, people get into that thinking like, hey, I'm going to get in. It's all about who you know, but the people you know ain't got no power. You know what I mean?
Just to let you know, Jonathan, me, and Minister are on the queue. Those are the 3 people. So. Okay, cool. What's up, Jonathan? What's up, Minister? Whenever you want them to come in, just let me know, and I'll bring them in.
Oh, bring them in. So, I'll do all that muting shit. You know what I mean?
Bring them in?
Yeah, man, I'll do all that muting shit.
One for all and all for one. What's up, brother?
Yo, what's up, son?
Thomas, what's up?
What's up? So what do you think about what I just said just now? Fuck a 4-year degree within reason, unless you want to be like an engineer, doctor, something like, John, you want to be an urban planner, that's different. But like I said, that dude, and this is a white dude who told me this, right? He's taking the fuck off. Yeah. 1 year and he got $100-something thousand a year gig. You go to school for 2 years and come out and make $100 a buck, son. It's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
$10,000 and you gonna make $100? I'll take that all day.
Yeah,
it's a nice investment.
Yeah, I heard a story about a dude that did the same basic type thing with underwater welding. He's up in Norfolk, Virginia, making about $160,000 working for Northrop Grumman. So same type of deal.
And he does it. And this is the thing. I've actually done loans for those dudes. I did a loan for a dude in Louisiana. He literally made like $200,000 in like 6 months. He would come home because he had to go. When he first comes up from underwater, he got to go through a decompression chamber to make sure he don't fucking bust from the bends, right? And then he just come home and chill for 6 months. And the dude told me, he said, "Yeah, I'm the dude that watches them." Literally, like he said, "I'll be on my iPad watching what's going on Netflix and shit, just making sure that the structural integrity is right." Yeah, that was good. That was good, son.
The corporate overview.
Exactly. He just, like, put it this way: the dude sweating his ass off with the welding, right? Well, he's underwater, but he's doing what he's doing welding, and there's a dude behind you with his legs kicked up on a box with a fucking recliner, talking about, you missed a spot. Didn't get that 150 racks.
You know how I get down. You know that I'm definitely not a college advocate, and the reason being is, for my personal success, what I've known for a long time is that you just pick a high growth industry, and you just get certifications, and the more certifications you get, and the ill thing to me is the certification to raise ratio. Like if you get one certification, it increases your pay by like $5,000, $10,000, sometimes $15,000.
Exactly.
So, you know what I'm saying? It's like I think it takes a lot of us half a lifetime, and then some of us even a lifetime to learn that hustle. You know what I'm saying? Because our parents programmed us to go straight to college, and we think, all right, well, we're going to go to college, we're going to come out and make six figures, and then what we don't realize is we go to college, we're going to come out and owe six figures. You know what I'm saying? But if you get into some place and you straight up like, you know what I'm saying, you get a job in the industry as well as you, because one thing my father taught me, he said, son, he said, paper and letters trumps experience. And what I would say is, and I don't want to take up all the time, is that most white people that you work with, they have what's called a walk-around education, which means that they worked on a job or in the industry, and because of their skin color, they got in with no experience and no paper, and they've been working in the industry for 20 to 30 years. So what ends up happening is the government decides that they can make money off that industry, and they say, well, in order for you to work in this industry, you now must have this, 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 and this. Them white people is not willing to go to school and get those certifications. So if you can go in and get those certifications, you come in, and they now respect what you say more than the dude that was working there for 20 years. And that's the hustle right there.
Yeah, check this out.
You work with. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No. The last thing I'm going to say is most of these white people that you work, because we have a very like what Holland usually says, which is the white man is Thanos. We have a very narrow-minded view of these people and their capabilities, and they're willing to actually invest in themselves. And we be thinking that they're smart and intelligent and hardworking. And the reality is most white people that you work with, they only want to go to work for 7.5 hours a day, go home, smoke a doobie, and fuck their women. That's it. You know what I'm saying? They're not willing to put in extra work. They're not willing to, show up early and stay late. They're not willing to do none of that. So the reality of it is that if you can do even just a little bit extra, you can, catapult to the top, because most of these white boys that you're competing with and women, they're not willing to do extra. And they, so then what they usually do is they use passive-aggressive office politics in order to try to keep you down. But once you start getting them letters, they can't stop you.
What's up, Minister?
Yeah.
Peace, brother. How you?
Peace. Yo, Thomas. I just want to build on a point that he was making. In my experience, like working in corporate America, and just in offices and stuff like that, what I've discovered is that the guys and the girls with college degrees are basically they're getting their degrees so that the person who runs the business can use them as managers, as supervisors. The guy who runs the business doesn't have a college degree and is really like, or in some cases, like a low-key moron. All he has is balls. You know, he's got balls and he's got the money.
To touch on that, low key, that's exactly how the military is actually run. Like in a given company or platoon, you have a platoon commander and a platoon sergeant. The platoon sergeant doesn't have a college degree or anything, but he has all the experience. The platoon commander is, he's got a college degree and he comes in, but he's kind of looked at as a boot. Like, we know that the platoon sergeant actually runs the platoon, even though the platoon has all the authority.
Yeah, and here's the thing, like, Holmes, just like you said, like, there in most, large companies, there's, you'll be surprised how many people actually don't have a 4-year degree. Like, I've worked for Citibank, I've worked for Countrywide, I've worked for Bank of America, I've worked for Accenture, I've worked for Blue Cross Blue Shield, I worked for some huge companies, and there's a lot of people that don't have college degrees. Now, the difference being is that I've been in sales for a long time, right? And sales, they really don't care about that shit unless it's like a certain type of sale. Like, if you're dealing with like doctors, you're gonna have to have a 4-year degree because they're not gonna really respect you walking in the door in pharmaceutical sales. You pretty much have to have a 4-year degree. But like in the mortgage business, as long as you can sell and you have basic understanding numbers, that wasn't the case. You just basically had to be able to communicate well. And so what I'm saying is, I think, the path forward, when we look at, for the people who are not willing to go to the continent, the path forward is what it used to be in the past. Remember when a lot of people went to technical school, like in the Bronx, there was Alfred E. Smith for mechanics. You had aviation high school in Queens. You had Transit Tech in Brooklyn for, trans technology and all that shit. Like, and then they had it where, those actually could be, if you, let's say, for instance, you were ahead in all your classes, your junior and senior year, in some cases, you could actually take that time to be working on your trade and then actually have credits going into a technical school, right? So people have downplayed technical education, but realistically speaking, every person should have a technical skill. Right, because a business with a business degree, for instance, right, there's certain things that you learn about, margin, profit, but some of that shit is common sense. Some people get it, some people don't, right? But in the case of, like, having a technical, skill set, that's invaluable because no matter what, as long as you are good at what you do, there's going to be a place for you. If it's like an electrician never goes out of style. I don't give a fuck what happens. Electricians. Now, imagine if you had, like I said, a tangent, a tandem skill, right? So you're an electrician, but you also do HVAC work. Now, if you were doing that works for residential, but in a lot of cases, or commercial, they won't let you because it's like subcontract. They won't let you do both. But if it's a residential, you can do both. Or like you're a welder and pipe fitter, right? Those things go together, right? So, I mean, being able to have those two skill sets together, that's really the path forward for these young kids right now who are here. Now, we could, for instance, make it as part of compulsory education that you will have a technical skill set. So how much more competitive does that make us, right, in Afghanistan, right, when all our people have a technical skill, and if they want, we'll help furnish them with a 4-year degree, but they will have a technical skill upon leaving.
Right. Now, with the people who go to school, like we're looking for people that have, specialty degrees, like engineering, science, technology.
Because exactly, you're exactly right. Jonathan, you be reading my mind sometimes, man. That's exactly it, right? Because why would you... Part of the problem you have here is the reason that student loan debt is out of control is because they'll let someone go to Full Sail University to learn how to be in the music business. The fuck is that, son? Fuck you spend $100,000 to figure out how to be in the music business.
That's why Kanye popped out.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's
Thomas,
so much
if
weight.
I can add to what you're saying, brother. If I can add to what you're saying, one of the things my dad taught me, and, for years, I did not listen to my dad. You know what I'm saying? I just basically went to work and punched the clock. And at some point, I got tired of getting sand kicked in my face, and I started listening. But one of the things my dad taught me is that if you always want to check coming to you one way or the other, you got to diversify your skills. So I can definitely get with what you're saying, because for me, having, so I have my locksmithing skill, and then I have my electronic security skill. You know what I'm saying? And in electronic security, I remember I was walking around the hospital one day in my second year in my career that I'm in now. And the older brother, he said to me, he goes, so what was you doing before you came here? I said, I was a locksmith for 15 years. And he stopped dead in his tracks and he said, my man, you left one trade for another? And when he said that, it smacked me in the face, because I didn't even really realize it. To me, it was just the Bible. But what he was basically saying to me is damn, do you know what it takes to do both? And so for years, while I was doing what I was doing, I looked at locksmiths and said, well, that didn't pay much, and it had me outside, because I'm going to be honest with you, man. When the winter came and the snow came down, you'd be on your back trying to fit keys of cars, stuff like that. I wasn't with it no more. But now they're asking for more physical locksmithing skills, and that's exactly what was in demand in the electronics field. So basically, if we can convince black people to get at least 2 skills and 2 languages, that alone would help us with the nation that we're trying to build. Number one, because it would make the quality of life for the people who want to build this nation better, so that they could donate more and add more to the conversation. But 2, and more importantly, it just enriches the whole nation experience, because you have people with 2 to 3 different skills that you could call upon and pass it down to the next generation. When Holland says things like, we as black people in America only have labor to pass down, that's not something that we should actually, just brush to the side. That's some real stuff right there. And for me, the way I look at it is, if that's true, and it is true, then we need to step our game up to the point where we can hand down a skill to our younger brothers and sisters, because really that's all we can do. You can try to hand down a business, but most black businesses don't last 3-4 generations. You know what I'm saying? So it's really important to have a skill just to be able to hand down your children something so that they don't start from scratch.
Now, I'm going to tell you something funny about that. My father, he wanted to pass down that skill of working on cars. I just never was good at it. I was always good at life. You know what I'm saying? I was always good in school. And so, but he knew that. I mean, I just always did well in school. He thought there was some hope and promise for me, because when I came back in the post and I went to A. Philip Randolph in Harlem, I was in the engineering program. So we had where we were on City College's campus, and if you started, so I came in as a sophomore. I started off as an engineering major, and then when it came to doing the drawings and shit like that, and I had my teacher was Trinidadian. My home teacher he was real persnickety. Trinidadian sometimes they know for being persnickety. He's very his attention to detail is he'll be looking at your drawings and looking at your lines and saying, that is not the object that I missed announcing. Say, fuck this, I'm out of here. he was dead. He wasn't mean about it. He would be like, Mr. Nelson, that line is not precise. You must go over. I was like, fuck that. I'm not doing this shit.
Yo, Thomas, you got a caller.
Oh, take them all
with
day.
Their hand up. This is John. What's up, John?
John.
What's going on, family? Peace to the family.
Peace, big brother. How are you?
Yeah, I was listening to your show, and actually I have a story about the 4-year degree. A lot of people that have 4-year degrees was getting into the trade when I was about a 3rd-year apprentice. So it was a person that was working. He was an accountant, and he just got into the apprenticeship to become a carpenter, and he was like a first-year apprentice. So when the housing bubble and the work was getting slow, a lot of people with 4-year degrees and master's degrees was getting into the trade, because that's where all the jobs was at.
Yes,
so you have people like 20, 28, 27, 26 first-year apprentices. You got to go through it, and it takes like 4 years to become a journeyman. So yeah, that's going on right now. You got people with master's degrees getting into the trades.
Word up.
Yep.
I can co-sign that.
I saw that. A lot of accountants, a lot of it's like financial people that was working in finances was first year apprentices.
Mm-hmm.
Word up. Yeah, I was working with a dude, and he was an electrician. He got a freaking 4-year degree from FIT in New York, and he's an electrician.
Wow.
Oh my God. Wow.
Yeah.
Word up.
Yeah, so that's
and here's
really
the thing:
real.
the babies. I'm glad you said that, man. So think about it this way, right? That person, had they went and got a technical skill set up front, wouldn't have to be worried about it later on because they wouldn't have really lot. Like one of my cousins that live up on Gun Hill, right? She got a 7th grade graduate now. You know, if I know something, I'm gonna make sure that they, you know, listen, because she doesn't really know anything about school, and she's honest about that. She didn't do that great in school. She don't really know nothing about that shit. She thinking that the guidance counselor at school is gonna help them, you know, and she's a Puerto Rican lady, you know, whatever, right? And so he wants to go to Art Institute. What the fuck you gonna do at the Art Institute? Learn how to draw Mickey Mouse and flip burgers on the side? Like, the fuck you gonna do, man? Like, you know, you want to go to animation? I'm like, yo, I said I have them, and then check this shit out, right? He said, well, you know, I didn't take the SAT prep as a waste of time. I said, yo, son, you realize people paid $3,000 for SAT prep, white people? So it can't be a waste of time. So if you wanted to go to 4-year school, you're already fucking up because you're not getting for preparation for that test that's a proprietary test anyway. And then, you know, what these guidance counselors tell these kids is this, and this is even more fucked up. My nephew that's down in D.C., when he was graduating, guidance counselor said, don't worry about the cost. Go where you want to go. What? Bitch, you're not paying for it. He's going to have $100,000 in debt. No, what you focusing where you can get the free money at. See, that's my thing. I always didn't give a fuck. I went where the free money was at. So when Nation Bank said they were going to pay my way, I was like, no doubt, I'll be there. You know what I mean? Like, I was where the free money was at because I wasn't fucking with the student loans. I knew that was a sucker shit. I already knew that was a sucker shit because when Bill Clinton was in office, you got to remember, Bill Clinton was the one who made it where you can't file student loan debt into bankruptcy. You almost got to be. You remember that movie Boxing Helena, where the motherfucker made somebody as a fucking quadriplegic? You damn near have to be a quadriplegic to get out of student loan debt and bankruptcy. And then even if you got that, they'd be like, well, you're educated, you have a mouth and some lips. Make it happen. You know what I mean? They might tell you to open up a glory hole factory or some shit like that to pay the fucking student loan debt back. It's madness. So I told him, I said, yo, what you want to do is find a school, because see, North Carolina is very unique. They have, and this is actually statute, if you go to CPCC and you want to go to Duke, UNC, if they'll take you, 100% of your credits are transferable because they have the exact same accreditation. I don't know if New York does that, you know, but I told them I'll look into it. Because it's probably a school that has a technical school. I said, yo, if you want to do anything, go for graphic design, something that's a somewhat high demand trade, if that's what you're interested in, or something in computers, and then learn like computer animation, so at least you'll have something you can make money off. That's your passion. But you know, I felt so bad because it's like she really doesn't know, you know, and she got 3 other babies, small babies, and everything. I said, let me talk to this little motherfucker, you know, before he go and be fucked up in the game. He got $50,000 in student loan debt, and he mad as hell. Then he gets some chick pregnant, and he shook daddy. You know what I mean? So. You know, so, I'm telling you, because these babies out here, they fucked up, man. Like, I'm telling you, like, they're not getting no information. I've had no less than in the past week, I had 2 18-year-olds who got in my Uber, right? So one wants to be an engineer, one wants to be a doctor. Now, this is a black girl who wants to be a doctor. I said, you don't got no scholarship money. I said, you shouldn't be paying a dime. She's like, yeah, I got a 3.9 GPA. She didn't know about Scholly. She didn't know about the money that the state of North Carolina makes available on forgivable loans if you serve here. I was like, what?
But, Thomas, where are you going to learn it from?
It's fucked up.
See, that's right. The problem. And that's what I've been trying to address for years, man. It's like we can't really it's like I said before, if you have no architectural schools, how are you mad because buildings ain't being built?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You can't. Our people don't even know basic stuff about like just how to, have a budget. You know.
Right. Yeah.
Like we just because everybody's fending for themselves. There's no systems, no institutions in place to teach us this shit. All the people on this phone learn what they learn through their own sweat, blood, and tears.
Yeah.
Well,
you know what I'm saying? It ain't come from no institution.
So check this out.
Oh, but
I got
John,
a proposal. Y'all. Okay,
John, what state are you from?
New York State.
New York.
Yeah.
Because we got Johns on the line, boy. There's a caller waiting to speak to you too, Thomas. He's John from Mississippi.
Oh, wow.
So we got John, and John.
You call me Zamal J. So you know what I'm saying, Brother John.
Oh, okay. I see.
I'm Zamal. Yeah,
okay.
I'm Zamal J.
I think I know you.
Yeah.
I've seen you on Facebook or on the website. I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you want me to bring John from Mississippi in?
Yeah. Okay.
No,
Bring him in.
You be in the chat room sometime on Sunday.
I also noticed when you apprentice, a lot of apprenticeship be like handed down. So it'd be like a lot of Europeans, well, a lot of whites that they're not really doing really good in high school, but they go into the trade. They go into the trade. But I got into the apprenticeship. Or by almost like by accident, because they needed more like black people in the unions. So I got it through that. But you notice that a lot of whites, that's not really good in high school, but they were going to the trades. By the time they hit about like if they like 18 going into the trade, by the time they hit like 20, by like 20, 21, they ran through like 4 or 5 homes. That's how much money they was making during that teenager state, because it was a lot of money. It's a lot of money in the trade. It's a lot of money.
I'm gonna tell you,
not a lot of black people
John,
that no. Yeah.
Hello?
John, you right. You hit the nail right on the head. I'm gonna tell you another one. So one of the most exclusive and like best kept secrets in the world in terms of like income potential is appraising, right? Real estate appraising in general, but real estate appraising. So there's this chick that's here. Her name is Carlos Hilton, right? Now she's a female. She's a 5th generation appraiser. So
right.
So here's the thing. When the economy was up and the real estate market was bubbling back in 2003, 2004, she was married to another dude. She taught him, and he was an appraiser. So each one of them had, like, the husband had 16 years experience. She had damn near 20 already. And they was fucking making like $500,000 a year doing appraisals. Real rap.
Yeah.
$500,000 a year just doing appraisals. I mean, they had a crazy lifestyle. They'd be up to 2 o'clock in the morning drinking energy drinks just trying to get an appraisal in. But it was blocked up. But they used to spend the shit at the Cherokee fucking casino and shit get sucked like for 50 racks in a weekend. But it was blocked up. They always had work. And the crazy thing about it is like, in order to do that, you have to be an apprentice for 2 years. But guess what? They're only going to want to do it for their family member.
Yeah, that's exactly how it was. It was always handled down. But I'm letting you know, by the time you finish your apprenticeship...
I'm waiting for them to unmute me.
Hello?
Who's that? Is that John from Mississippi?
Yeah, this is John from Mississippi.
Yeah, you're unmuted. We can hear you.
Oh. Was it this entire time?
Like I was saying, if you get into apprenticeship when you're young, straight out of high school, by the time you hit about like 2021, you're going to be making at least about $60,000, at least $60,000 a year.
That's a pretty low
a lot of
target
overtime,
right there.
and including the benefits. And we don't go on vacations, but we get like vacation paid. Yeah.
And what about the side jobs, brother?
I'll tell you the truth. If it wasn't for side jobs, I would be, you know what I'm saying, I would be struggling. Because it's really, it's getting, I would be struggling. If it wasn't for side jobs and the trade that I know, the stuff that I know, I would be struggling. Because the best thing about a trade, you could go any place and get a job.
Exactly.
Get some work.
Thank you. Mhm. That's the beautiful thing. Is like my dad told me a long time ago. When you have a trade, when the white man's business shut down, your business don't shut down. You know what I'm saying? When you have it, word
exactly.
up. When you have a job,
you could guerrilla it. You just put up your own cards, hand them out. Then it's a lot of lazy people out there, man. It's a lot of lazy people out there that don't know how to put together a desk, put some shelves up. I'm telling you.
Hey, I'm one of those people. I resemble that remark. Word life.
You keep me in business. Keep me in business.
I need you to come change this washer in my dishwasher.
Give me a good reason to do anything.
Like 30 bucks.
Ever.
Yeah, every 30, but we stretch the work. We make it seem like that, hour work on this for 15 years.
John, I think John from Mississippi wants to speak.
Yeah, John,
Give me one good reason. Give me one good reason why you should do anything ever.
Say again?
Huh?
Give me one good reason why should I expend any energy into doing anything ever.
I'm confused. Why you should extend? I'm not understanding your question. It's a loaded question, so I need you to elaborate.
No, it's not a loaded question.
Your point
it's actually pretty basic. Why should I ever do anything?
I don't know. That's like they're asking the answer to what the meaning of life is. We're gonna put you on mute, John. Thanks a lot. Peace.
Oh, fuck you.
All right, next. Eat a dick 2 times. Yo, we have
he called in and waited just to make that point.
Yeah, John is a bocce boy. I hate to say it, but not you, John from Florida, not you, John, New York, but John from Mississippi is a bocce boy. He rides dick backwards. Anyway, next. He wears your John from Mississippi.
Wow, that's some dedication right there. This dude waited on the line for like 20 minutes, went through call screening and everything, held up that facade just to get online and ask that stupid ass question. Wow.
John from Mississippi. John from Mississippi wears sweaters that zip up from the back. He was an extra on that World Class Wrecking Crew cover. That was a white dude.
Yeah.
I think it's the same white dude I got into on another show from back in the day. He was trolling me or some shit. Dick rides back, get out of here. So anyway, back to the subject at hand.
Y'all go through this all the time?
Oh,
Sometimes.
That's the type of brother that wear boxing brief with no dick holes.
Exactly. He's one of those dudes. He's a gay porn extra. They take the real dude out and let them nut on him. Fuck out of here, nigga. Anyway, you can't even have a civilized conversation. We're talking about real stuff. This dude comes in with the nonsense. I'll dice you, son. Please don't do it to yourself. So that's what he's saying. Fuck 4-year degree.
But it's a lot of things to learn in the trade. Is actually I'm doing research on the fire guard test. It's just just a basic certification that you go around, make sure you have like emergency fire plan and everything.
Mm-hmm.
If in case of emergency. You have, you're making sure the extinguishers and everything is set in place. But anyway, it's a demanding job right now for job sites. You know what I'm saying? It's a demanding job for job sites. It only costs $25 to get certified. But you could go any place and get a job. You know what I'm saying? Just be a fire guard.
John's dropping jewels. He's dropping jewels, y'all. Now listen what he said.
Word
a
up.
lot of the times, these certifications don't be about shit. They don't cost a lot of money.
Yeah.
It'd be crazy when you look into it. It'd be like less than you probably some of these certifications you get done for under $500 in some cases.
Yep.
It's crazy.
And when it comes when it comes to trades, a lot of companies be looking for people like that have that type of certification. That they don't really have to, they don't have to really look, look for the professional people They can find somebody who's certified in that, you know what I'm saying, in that field, and just, you know what I'm saying, the person is just, you know, they working like 8 hours, but they, you know what I'm saying, they just walk, you know what I'm saying, walk the building every 2 hours just to make sure everything is up in codes. And you can make a living off of that. That's all you're doing. You're just walking around and making sure, okay, this is good, and that's it. It's really, you know, that stuff is easy. But they need people. They need people to do that. They need people to do that.
When dealing with young people, and when we're saying that the young people don't have enough information, this is the bugged out thing about 2015. All you have to do is stack certifications and put your name on LinkedIn. That's it. Once you put your name on LinkedIn and you got all those letters behind your name, the stream of people emailing you for jobs from even other cities. There are people that are emailing me trying to get me to go to California. You know what I'm saying? All you have to do is put your name on LinkedIn and stack your certifications and put the registration number on it, and you're good. But the information is not out there. So young people think that they got to go to go to college, and then come out of college and like go through the interview process. When what they don't realize is that the big money, and Thomas, I know you know this, there's big money in recruiting now, where people, you know what I'm saying, they in the recruiting industry where they just go basically search the internet for you and try to match you with a company, and they don't even have to leave their home. You know what I'm saying? So
I actually know someone who does that.
Easy. What?
I know someone does. So like, she used to work. So let me say what she does. She used to be the person at like IBM that would help people who were transitioning out because they got laid off. That IBM like stayed in like a government job for some people. So they've been there for 20 years and they don't have any other skills. So she would help them get new education, upgrade their skills, and then help them get a job. So there's a company called Drake B. Marin. Their biggest competitor is Right Management, and then she also did stuff like business incubation. She worked for Duke Corporate Education at one point. So yeah, I know people who do stuff like that, and they make pretty good money. In a lot of cases with the staffing industry, they make a portion of whatever the per dollar per hour salary is, and then they keep the person, and it's for a period of time, and then them anymore. It doesn't necessarily go to the applicant, but yeah, that's a hustle in of itself. But like you said, just having the certifications, being online, and being visible, and then having experience. So here's what I was going to say too is like I thought about this for a while, but the BAIO manifesto on how to uplift someone from poverty within less than a generation. So for instance, let's say you got someone, because we all got people in our family that struggle, right? And that they have issues and all like that. So, let's say, for instance, they got a young kid, right? Now, check this out, right? There was something that William Darity, I don't know if you guys know who he is. He's been on Gus Show. He's one of those guys. Yeah, this is why I give him credit. He's one of those guys, like, he's went and he got his education from the white institutions, but he's the counterpart. He's the counter voice to, like, a Thomas Sowell. You know Thomas Sowell? He's like this. He's a coon, but he's a very articulate coon. But he's from North Carolina originally, but he lived in Harlem, and he's a conservative. He's like on that Clarence Thomas type tip. And William
sounds
Darity,
like a good screen name, the Articulate Coon.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And so what William Darity does, he presents the counter argument to Thomas Sowell because he talks about persistent disparity. He has a book. He's been on Blog Talk on many occasions. And so he talked about, for instance, to get around the whole race thing, right, he said, well, what if you provided money for people based on economic strata, right, which more than likely, disproportionately, will be, black people, right? But basically said that, you provide, when someone has a child born in a poor family, you have money that's set aside for them, and they have to meet certain provisos, like, going, finishing school, to give them something to look forward to. And if they play their cards right, they got something to look forward to, right? So, for instance, in a lot of families, check this out. What if a baby's born, right? Because we actually did this for my godson, right? So, getting a young baby a cash building life insurance policy. Now, check this out, right? And with a lot of life insurance policies, or all of them, I should say, they're all age-based, right? Man, you could get like you could get like $50,000 in coverage for a newborn for like probably $10 or $15, right? $20. If you give it the right company, over the years you pay on it, right? By the time they're 21, they'll have 20, 30 grand that they can do anything they want with. So maybe they don't want to go to school. Maybe they want to start a business. Or let's say they go and they get a technical skill, and now they have the money to live off of so they can go straight into business for themselves. So the manifesto being, we get them the right education up front, let them know all their options, find all the free money, have some money tucked away from them, so that way the next generation is not in poverty. And that's a small sacrifice, you know what I mean? But like my godson, his mom has money, but we put money away from him, so he's got like one of these cash bills and life insurance policies that by the time he's 21, I think the projection said based on like just 4%, he'd have like roughly over $32,000. Now, of course, he'll never know that because he don't want to tell some chick, hey, I got a life insurance policy, she whack him, you know what I mean? Before he gets married so she can get the bread. But that's something as simple as that. But giving them a framework on which to guide them so that way they're not fucked up by the time it's appalling that these kids have so little information about what their options truly are. And especially that black girl to not know that she should not have to pay a dime for school, and it's not an entitlement thing. Based on what she was telling me, she said, "Yeah, I'm in the top 5% of my class. I do, I've done everything." But she hadn't. I think she said she had took her SAT once, and she had I think she said she was doing other stuff to make her, her little resume, bullshit resume she got in high school, make it look better so she get noticed. But she wants to be a doctor. She's one of the people that's going to have to go to a 4-year school. But the fact that she doesn't have the resources, she'll fuck around and be in student loan debt till she's 40.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I mean? So at least I gave her the information. She was like, "Oh wow, this is awesome," So she went and got the little app, and now hopefully she'll be able to get a majority of the money. But so anyone have an objection to that, or like think anything different? Being able to take someone who doesn't have a lot of resources, they're born into a family that has a lot of resources, and it's something as small as doing something like that. At least they'll have something to look forward to growing up.
No disagreement from me.
No disagreement. Not at all, brother.
I just want to tell you, Thomas, I've been fighting off the trolls while you've been talking. They've been calling in like crazy.
Wow.
So I've just been locking them off. And
you know what? I don't know how to. When I say fuck a 4-year degree, I figured that was going to bring a lot of hate.
I don't
I said in context.
The stuff that Thomas be saying is like, how you going to be upset at the information that he's given. If you could, somewhat critique it or whatever, okay. But the information, is pretty much on point because most of the information that he's saying, I never heard about it. You know what I'm saying? Or knew about it, or I stumbled across it by accident. You know what I mean?
Well, you're talking about trolls. It's like logic and reason don't even come into the equation. It's just, it's like, how can I fuck up the vibe? I'm screening them, so you ain't got nothing to worry about.
What have they been saying so far?
Nah, they just been called, like the same dude, that dude that we cut off, been called like about 16 times.
Oh, yeah.
One guy calls and says, I'm Agent so-and-so from the FBI. I want to speak to the host and all this other crazy. Oh, man, it's hilarious.
There's too many Negroes.
Yeah, brother, you know what I'm saying? Y'all got to realize, man, there's people out there who make good people do bad things, man. You know what I'm saying? We got to be cool. We got to be cool, man. Every day is a fight, man. Every day is a fight.
Yeah.
This is like that. But okay.
I will say, Thomas, that I'm definitely not against what you're saying. But in addition to what you're saying, if I could add, this is the problem that I have with most black organizations. Is what you said just now, the basics of what you said just now is absent from almost every conscious organization. You know what I'm saying? And so you got treasure troves, hundreds of people flowing into these organizations, trying to get a religion or trying to get some kind of culture, and never hearing what you just said, will be in the organization for 10, 15, 20 years and be broke as hell, bitter, and be worse off, as far as I'm concerned, when they come out than when they was in. And to me, that's when I started swinging on organizations maybe 2 years ago by saying, listen, you know, you guys are recruiting all of these people into these organizations and requiring them to be sitting up at night learning all of this information so they can spit it out verbatim. And you're telling me that all it takes is like maybe 2-3 nights of study for a certification that will increase your pay by $5,000-$10,000, and you're not going to give them that information? You're going to tell them that money is the root of all evil? So for me, what you just said, and if we implement that, that distinguishes the BAIO pretty much against almost every black organization that exists in America right now, because they're not giving out that kind of information. They just basically want you to be down with the team, be a good team player, and that's it. And they're not going to try to help you secure your family. And to me, one of the other worst parts about it is that most of these organizations try to tell you to have children, and they're against birth control. So now you power a baby after baby after baby inside your religion or culture, and they're not going to give you the information to take care of all your babies.
Yeah.
Isn't that the most bizarre thing in the world? Keep having them babies, but don't know how to take care of them.
And you know what's crazy to me? What's crazy to me is that they think that they are making some grand point. Like when your basic philosophy is if Thomas brings up, let's say, Uber or whatever or any other situation, their default argument is but. That's the default argument. And so you shut it down, you shut down anything, and then you won the conversation. Now we're not doing shit. But you won. They do it with everything. They do it across the board.
Yeah, I remember one dude, and he was cool about it. He called from Atlanta, and he said, but, you know, most of our people fit in that other situation. Well, change the situation. What I'm telling you is that, you know, like if you have credit issues, right, one of the issues is that maybe at the time you couldn't afford the debt that you had and went to collection. Well, you know, there's an easy solution. Pick up a second income. Like, second incomes are not hard. Remember how hard it used to be sometimes to try to get a good second gig? You know how much second income potential is in certain cities now? I mean, you know, if you were in New York, D.C., Miami, Seattle, L.A., I mean, you can survive this on side hustles.
Yeah. I did. I was working full time. You know what I'm saying? And union jobs, and still I had to grab like a job at Staples. I had to grab a job at Staples, but that's when I developed. That's where I developed a business going through Staples. I started assembling furniture for customers. You know, so that's what I would do. And I was working. I was making a lot more, but I needed a second hustle, man. And I got that, you know, a low paying job at Staples, but I developed my own business. Started putting together furniture for other people.
Yeah. Earl talked about that. Earl. Yeah, I referred Earl.
I just wanted to
I referred Earl to people.
As a locksmith.
I referred Earl to people. I referred Thomas Show to people. And you know, some people have jumped on it. You know, some of my family members have jumped on it. And then I've had other people like, but.
Really? Right.
Looking for an excuse for failure. You know what I'm saying? Just like the conscious community. You start talking about nationhood. But the white supremacy is a global system. The white man is Thanos. He can't be beat. He's Ivan Drago.
But we can do it right.
Galactus. She's Galactus. He devours everything.
Minister, you know what I'm talking about. Once you have a trade, you could branch off. You could do a lot of branch off and adjust the situation to what you know. You know what I'm saying? How you what you learned in your trade. That's what I always do.
Oh, no doubt. Yeah. No doubt. And I, like you, years ago when I first came in the industry, like when I first came in the locksmith industry, I was washing dishes at night, brother. You know what I'm saying? And that was humiliating because, Brother John can relate. Once you come into a trade, you, like, it gives you a different level of self-confidence because, you're learning something that the average cat don't know. So, by daytime, you're the man. Like, you're doing whatever you do, whether it's electricity, electronics, carpentry, whatever. And then, but the only thing about it is that, because you may have made mistakes when you were younger or you're not getting paid that well, then at nighttime you got to turn into Joe Blow the Herb and go do this or go do that or go do this. You know what I'm saying? And you're like, God damn, I know I'm bigger than this. I'm Mr., electronics guy. And here it is. I'm like, yo, welcome to McDonald's. Can I take your order? And it's like, you know what I'm saying? So when Thomas comes on here and talks about making a second income, to me, that's real talk. It's information I didn't have when I was younger because when I was younger, you know what I'm saying, I just, okay, well, I'm going to give me another job. I never thought about the kind of stuff that Thomas was talking about.
Right about that. I was like, yo, man, I gotta do something here, So I just started hustling. I was like, they don't know how to put that together. Yo, I know how to put this together. I just started hustling. I'm just gonna make it just to my trade.
John, your name is Zamal J on our Ning site?
Yeah, Zamal J, yeah.
Good to go, man. Yeah. Get on there and blog every once in a while. We're trying to get more and more brothers to start blogging on the site.
All right. I actually, I try to put something up because I'm still learning about the computers and the ins and outs. So try to throw some information up there.
Awesome.
Yeah, I hear you, John. I hear you on that. Like, cause it's so funny. People be thinking I'm like mad technically inclined. Like, I'm just nice with Google, son. I'm Google shit. Like, I be like, how can I make 200% Google? That's it. I'm just dead nice with Google.
Me too.
It's funny because I got plenty of friends like you. Like, yo, you know what I'm saying? You're like, if you need to deal with computers, I'm astute, but yo, I need you to come over here and put this TV up on the wall for me.
Exactly. Yo, son, I be calling. I got this one. Here's the thing too. It's really hard to I'm just trying to find black trades people here. In Charlotte, is not a lot of them. Like, I had one dude, he did some painting for me, and but when it comes to handyman services and stuff like that, there's not really a whole lot of them. You might find a carpenter here and there. So I got one dude, it's an Italian dude from New York that anything I really need to do, I bet I don't have time to do that shit. Get that shit done, and he'll be all right. He'll come through. I hit him off for $75. I can just buy anything done, depending on what it is, you know what I mean? But
you know what I just realized? Know what I just realized?
I can hear you.
I said, you know what I just realized?
What?
This will be our setup for how we're going to set up our basic education in Afghanistan. Like, basically,
that's what I was saying. Yeah.
We were discussing when I said that the whites, you know what I'm saying, the whites in the trade, they actually hand down the trade to their kids. They know they're not, you know what I'm saying, they're bad high school students. As long as they graduate, they can go into the trade because college is not for them. And they get a skilled trade right there. Always working, you know what I'm saying? It's a skilled trade. I mean, the person, do bad in high school, but they could build your house.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? The person is bad in high school, but they could build your building. You know what I'm saying? They have the knowledge to build and laid out a floor. You know what I'm saying? In your building. You know?
Yeah. I'm gonna ask y'all this question. Check this out, right? After 9th grade, right? Or you can make the argument 8th grade. Name something that, unless you're in a highly technical, field like engineering or something like that, that what you learned, right, beyond the 9th grade, it really is relevant to you functioning as an adult right now. So in other words, everything that you probably need to learn to function as an adult, you've learned by 8th grade. So what if we transform the model to where instead of people going to school for fucking 12 years and wasting time and resources, consolidate kindergarten and first, consolidate like fucking second and third, right? And then, like a fucking 2-year high school situation and 2 years of actual technical training, which they get on-the-job training as an internship for them to graduate in their senior year. So now you're not wasting all that time. They're actually, by the time they're 17, they're actually able to work by the time they're 18 if they want. And then if they want to go to school for like engineering or architecture or physics or shit like that, then we support them and send them to school for that shit, provided they can keep up academically.
You know why that's radical, Thomas? You know why that's so radical? Because you're not trying to profit off of their education for 12 years. You're actually thinking more efficiently.
I
mean,
mean,
they would actually have information if they have an on-job experience. They will automatically have an idea about engineering, because it's a lot of the people who build. You know what I'm saying? The engineer would come over, come to the. They would get the blueprints and lay it out, but they would have arguments with the builders. So that it automatically cross. You know what I'm saying? Cross-reference each other. You have to have some basic understanding about engineering, and if you see that on a regular basis, you would be you know what I'm saying? If you would be, you know what I'm saying, if you see like the engineering printings and what they do on a regular basis, pretty much you're an engineer. Because I've seen plenty of people that does a lot of engineering work, and they just a regular carpenter or electrician, you know what I'm saying, or plumber, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
But here's the one distinction with engineering, architecture. Because the tolerances are very precise, that you have to have someone who has attention to detail and that is very precise with numbers. So while they may do the work, for instance, you may have someone who's an electrician and they may do the work of an electrical engineer, but unless they would understand imaginary numbers and all that stupid shit, they're not going to be able to be an electrical engineer. They need to go to school and develop that skill. Yeah, that's some bullshit, like imaginary numbers and all that shit.
Sorry to cut you off, Tom, but matter of fact, that's when you see that's when the argument comes. It's a lot of arguments between the engineers and the builders, because they be arguing like, yo, you can't put this here because this wall is right here, or you know what I'm saying, this pipe is right here. So you see a lot of arguments between, you know what I'm saying, the architects and the builders, so on and so forth. But regardless, you would still have that type of, you know what I'm saying, you still understand the knowledge about the engineering. That's the
thing. Can I just say something? This is, and while it's on my mind, I don't want to take away from the conversation, but can you tell the difference between when you listen to these other shows and listen to our shows and the quality of the callers?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, absolutely.
You tell it's a vast difference in the quality of the callers that we get. You know what I'm saying? I'm listening to John. I'm like, man, this dude is on point.
Word. Absolutely. Yeah. It looks like Mr. Rosenthal is trying to get into the convo, bro.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, let's holler at Mr. Rosenthal. Is he trying to call in, or he's just on the chat?
Yeah, he says he put the number up and he says, will not let me talk. And then he says, what is needed to get into the conversation? I'm not sure that. Let me ask him to post his number.
Wait, hold on. Let me see where he's at. Where is he at? He's definitely not in the call queue.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask him how he called in.
Tell him to call in and ask him what his last 4 digits is, because I'm not trying to get no morons on the line.
Yeah.
I'm just let the brothers online we'll be on, you know what I'm saying, in the new nation, like on, you know what I'm saying, like what will be going on when the infrastructure is being built, like what's going on, you know what I'm saying, when a building, you know what I'm saying, when a commercial building is being built, like a lot of, you know what I'm saying, a lot of things that be happening on job sites. You be,
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? You be like a lot of, you know what I'm saying, a lot of things be going on, a lot, you know what I'm saying, a lot of cross references and you know what I'm saying, a lot of fight with the engineers and the builders and the carpenters and the electricians, but you know what I'm saying, it's a good thing because regardless of the fact, you're still learning, you know what I'm saying, you're still learning the basics and understanding about how to build infrastructure, period. That is the bottom line.
Yeah, now I'll be honest. The Jews who... Okay, go ahead.
No. If I could lend to that, one thing I'll say to you, Brother John, from my own personal experiences, is that, you know, engineering, you got mediocre engineers, and then you got engineers that know what the hell they're doing. And you and I both know, word up, you and I both know the majority of the engineers are mediocre. And, you know, basically they just study just enough to get a degree and don't really have any practical boots on the ground information. So when you deal with them, the only thing they know how to do is scream on you if you leave your work area dirty, you know what I'm saying, if you're taking too much materials or whatever. But they don't really know what the hell they're doing, you know what I'm saying? So for me, what I do know, though, is that when it comes to real engineering, you know what I'm saying, that's definitely something that you would definitely have to sit in the classroom for because you have to know there's some figures, Brother Thomas, that's imaginary, but there's also some figures that's real time. And what I come to find out is that there's a lot of people out there, they didn't do the work. They just basically skated by when they were going to school. So when they come out, they got to relearn all of that. But, you know, basically if you got peach skin or pale skin, you could skate by and act like you don't know and just scream on everybody. And that's what usually happens. But a real engineer is a person that knows exactly what time such stuff is supposed to happen, has a realistic schedule and turnaround time, has a knowledge of logistics as far as what materials need to be bought, and, you know, is not running back and forth to the supply house every 5 minutes wasting time. That's a real engineer. And Brother John could bear witness. That kind of person is very hard to come by because most of the job sites you go to have dudes that's ham and niggers that just show up, you know what I'm saying, after a night of drinking and just basically scream on everybody.
Actually, some of those, maybe a majority, the stuff that, you know what I'm saying, what I saw, usually they work for the company who financing it. So, you know what I'm saying, that goes, that goes where we was talking before. If you know what I'm saying, if you have a friend or a family member, and you say, yo, get into the engineering trade, and I will hire you.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So that person's not really going to put that much, you know what I'm saying, that much work in, that much time in, that much, you know what I'm saying, thinking process in. So, you know, of course, that's the ones that are going to have the argument with the plumbers, you know what I'm saying, with the electricians, with the carpenters, you know what I'm saying, the pipe fitters, because, yo, we can't fit that there. We tried it. It's a wall here or some wires here. We can't do that, you know?
Well, that's why you'll notice.
That's what Daryl was talking about. That's what Minister Daryl was talking about. Then they would start yelling about you. You know what I'm saying? Yelling on you. Oh, you don't know what you're talking about. This and that, you know? Like, yo, I built it. It's not working.
well, just to kind of add on to that, like, you know, some of the best, like, for instance, like, architects are probably people who were general contractors and they were carpenters first. So I've seen that, like someone who started off as a carpenter, they become a GC, and then they become an architect because they really, when you get someone like that, you pay them top dollar because they really know, you know, hands-on versus someone with the architecture school. Now, there's some people who are naturally gifted and talented. They go to architecture school, and they may not necessarily have done the actual building themselves, but they're gifted and they understand, like, load-bearing walls and stuff like that. But, I mean, if you get an electrical engineer that's actually been an electrician for, say, 5 or 10 years, and then they become an electrical engineer, that's powerful. You know what I mean? Someone who's a technician who also has an advanced skill set.
Actually, that's what's going on right now. Remember earlier I was telling you, there's a lot of, you know what I'm saying, people from the financial areas getting to the trades. And it's a lot of, you know what I'm saying, carpenters, electrician, pipe fitters is getting to the engineering field because, you know what I'm saying, that's what they see, like the job slowed down, but in the engineering field, it's you know what I'm saying, it's always work there. So it's a lot of, you know what I'm saying, it's a lot of cross-fitting that's going along these different points of the career field.
Oh, do you see somebody with a 601 area code?
That might be Earl.
No, that's Mr. Rosenthal, but...
Let me see.
Okay, well, he's out of Mississippi or something like that. Or,
Yes.
Okay.
Can I get into the conversation?
Tennessee. Yeah, how you
No,
doing?
Mississippi. Yes, how are you
Mississippi,
doing?
okay. Good.
Yeah. Well, I have quite a bit of experience in engineering. I retired from the U.S. Department of Defense Army Corps of Engineers, where I supervised 4,000 engineers.
Awesome.
The discussion is very good. There are a lot of people can do technical work who support engineers, can be trained to do various functions as well as engineers that you don't need a degree to do. But when it comes to complex problems and figuring out, you can build a bridge, but then you want to know the capabilities of the bridge. How many tons can go on that bridge before it falls down? You need to be able to mathematically calculate that before you build it. You can't just build a big bridge. You know, if you build a bridge and that bridge is good for 5 cars to go across, then it will hold up. But if you bring a truck across with 100 tons weight, then how big do the pallets need to be? How deep do they need to go? And then what is the material that those pallets should be made out of to support that bridge? Those things need mathematical calculation that goes far above the 9th grade. Now, a person in 9th grade can build it once it's figured out and you tell him what to do. But it's almost impossible for a 9th grade person to do the calculus to figure that out.
Yeah, that's why we actually said that was the exception to the rules. Engineering, architecture, doctor. There's certain things you will have to go to school beyond 9th grade for. That goes without saying. We never said.
I'm not saying that the person, a 9th grade person, could build the bridge. That's how you can be trained to put the concrete together, put the pallets down, to pour the concrete around the metal and build the bridge. A 9th grade person can do that, but the calculation to say how large the metal have to be, how much tempering the steel have to have, those type things, to actually build it. Engineers don't really build bridges.
Absolutely. That's why we said that.
And give it. Yeah.
Actually, the brother's on point when he was talking about the weight, because, like I would say, when you work in the commercial fields of constructions and trades, I came across that by accident because we when I was apprentice, we end up loading the floor with so much sheetrock that the floor, the concrete floor was cracking. But none of us knew about the weight that you're supposed to put on the floor particular. You understand what I'm saying? So So the brother is correct. You have to know. You definitely, you know what I'm saying, have to go to become an engineer and know about that type of mathematics, because it will be a problem that a floor would collapse, even though you know what I'm saying, you think it's reinforced, but it's only a certain amount of weight that could go on that floor. So
that's absolutely right.
Correct about that, because I think, you know what I'm saying, I think Holla was talking about that before. It was like, yo, how, you know what I'm saying, how are we going to know when, you know what I'm saying, you're going over the bridge and making sure that it's on the collapse? That's the stuff that we're going to talk about. But if that same
floor had 6-inch rebars in it and 12 inches of concrete, you would have been able to find enough sheetrock to make it crack.
Exactly. But I didn't know that, you know what I'm saying, that stuff can happen. And that's what I was talking about. When you're in the field of construction, especially commercial work, you will come across stuff like that. That's why I was like, yo, it would be like, you know what I'm saying, understanding what goes into infrastructure building. Because you would have an idea of what, you know what I'm saying? You would have those questions. Like, how long, you know what I'm saying? How much that, you know what I'm saying? How much material I could stack on the 32th floor before the concrete cracks, you know? Like, we get to ask questions like that.
Well, another example is in Tanzania, they build houses and buildings with concrete blocks. They don't usually put metal in them to reinforce them. So they build a 12-story building with nothing but concrete blocks stacked on top of concrete blocks. And then a strong wind came and it collapsed from the middle. Because it couldn't withstand the other floorings and furniture and all the other stuff that was put inside of the building. But if they had reinforced those blocks with metal inside of them, it would have stayed there. That's why Africa needs to use all of this metal that's coming out of the Congo, going to China and Japan to build steel mills. And if they build a steel mill, they could furnish the world with it. China is trying to buy Detroit to put up a steel factory there.
Wow.
He actually on point. China actually started buying the material coming out of Africa about like 2000, 2006, 2008. That's when they started. You know what I'm saying? That's when the plan of buying material. You know what I'm saying, to build. You know, because you know they don't have no natural resources over there. So they started doing that a while back.
Yes, they did, and they're carrying Africa back to slavery and colonialism. To give you an example, there's a company called City Construction, CITIC. CITIC is the largest construction company in the world. My company has an agreement and a joint venture with City Construction. They built a city in Angola for $2 billion, and they're taking $6 billion in oil for 15 years. Right now, oil is selling at about $38 a barrel. 5 years ago, oil was selling at $120 a barrel. So oil selling at $38 a barrel, and they take that oil and make gasoline, kerosene, diesel, jet fuel, gasoline, roads and roofing for housetops and God knows what else out of the petroleum. That petroleum will be worth about $40 billion. So they are raping Africa of its resources and robbing the next generation of people who live there. So it's another way of putting them in slavery or putting them in colonialism, and they are agreeing to do it voluntarily.
Do y'all notice? What is your name, brother? What you calling out of?
Robert Rosenthal.
Robert Rosenthal. But you notice that Robert Rosenthal and I wasn't talking about currency. We was talking about resources.
Yeah.
You notice that? We noticed that it's the resources. We're willing to do this for you.
Resources can be monetized into currency. Very easy.
Right.
Exactly, but we're not really talking about cold. We ain't talking about cold cash. We're talking about what lasts. You understand what I'm saying? We're talking about what lasts, and it always lasts in the resources. It's always lasts in the resources.
Mr. Rosenthal, those are really great comments that you made and adds value, and I'm glad that you brought those things up. So that's why I don't know if you caught like the beginning of the show. What we said is kind of tongue in cheek when I said fuck a 4-year degree, and in the parentheses in the show it says in context for the masses, because for instance, I know that for instance engineers are people who are basically problem solvers or architects, and they have high-level math function, but let's face it, 80% of the people don't, and they're actually people who are going to be the technically driven people that actually are doing the manual labor, but they're still very well-paid positions. And so that's the only reason we we entitled the show that way. It was to be controversial, but to spark the conversation of what is the value of a 4-year degree outside of a very highly talented industry like engineering, architecture, being a doctor, being a lawyer.
You're wasting your time. You're wasting your time.
Exactly.
Just like, let me give you an example of that. There's a university called Jackson State University. They turn out more computer science degree people than anybody in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
And 50% of them end up working at Walmart.
Yes, sir.
Because the industry needs
apprentice. All first year.
Hold up, hit the fail button on that one. Hit the fail button on that one. You said, wait, say that again, Mr. Rosenthal. You said
they turn out more
people, scientists,
computer science degree people than any university in the country. About 40% of them end up working at Walmart. The industry has graduated from computers. The industry has graduated from computer science. They don't need computer science people no more. If your computer breaks down or you need a program, you call some folks in New Jersey and they can take control of your computer from New Jersey and do whatever it needs to correct it.
Mm-hmm.
So you need software engineers now. You need people who can make these little video games that is $120 billion industry.
Wow.
That speak the zeros and O's. That speak the matrix. That make that program that literally programmed the game.
Yeah. You have children in the 10th grade who can hack into the Pentagon's computers.
Mm-hmm.
And never went to college. The Nigerians have people who stole $800 million out of Bank of America and transferred it to Russia because we afraid to go over there and fight them white people. We'll beat the shit out of the Arabs. But we're afraid to go over there and fight those white people. So the United States left the $800 million that the Nigerians stole out of Bank of America in Russia, and they won't hardly talk about it.
Oh, man.
Neither one of those guys had a high school education.
Oh.
But they got $800 million, not today. They got to split it with the Russians, but, so just getting a degree in physical education, social science, mass communication, you'd be better off getting in the 9th grade, learning how to wire a house or do plumbing, welding, or something that can generate money to take care of your family.
Exactly. He's on point. He's definitely on point about that. But when us being Africans here, we don't even have that information. We don't even have that information. Like like I'm going back into with these white folks. Guys that do bad in high school would get into the trade, and they have a tradition doing that. They have a tradition doing it, and not only the system is set up for them to do that. The system literally set up for them to do that. Remember what I told you at the beginning, the reason how I got into the union, because they had to put more black people in the union. That's how I got into their apprentice. That's how we got into apprentice day. It was a program that called the consortium program that bring in, brothers and sisters, into the union. And they would train, they would train us, become a pre-apprentice. We would get the understanding of how apprenticeship worked. Then we would become apprentice, and we automatically get into the program. But the catch was that they was getting about 16,000, per apprentice. So that's 16,000 times about, let's say about like 30 people. Regardless of You know what I'm saying? Regardless of who, you know what I'm saying, who go through the program or not, you're going to get the money from the state regardless. So that's how that worked right there. But on the other hand, when it comes, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to the white folks, it's a tradition that they're going to get their son, you know what I'm saying, in their apprenticeship. They're going to get their son like, you know what I'm saying? That's a tradition that's going on in the union all day, every day. So if it comes, you know what I'm saying, if it comes to electrician, you know what I'm saying, plumbers, pipe fitters, you know what I'm saying, iron workers, that's a tradition that they've been doing since the beginning. You know what I'm saying? And I just got up on that. Got up on that a few years ago. You know what I'm saying? It's the fathers that hand it down. You know what I'm saying? They can hand it down. So, like I said,
there's another skill called tools and die.
Mm-hmm.
People can make $150,000 and above just learning how to do that, and it's in the United States it's a blue collar trade that is 90% white people.
90%.
Yeah, because they do what the gentleman just said they do. They train their children how to do it, and then they set up these little metal shops, sheet metal shops, with these drill machines in, and they do tool and die. And if you got some rocks you need to cut through, you need somebody to make you a drill that'll go through the rocks. If you want to break up concrete, you need somebody to make you a drill. They may get the industrial diamonds from Africa, but the Africans don't know how to make the drill.
Oh, brother, you said something that I was thinking about a couple of days ago. We're talking about like you know what I'm saying, how people make orthopedic shoes. Actually, they have like tools, like you know what I'm saying, a way that, you know what I'm saying, the carpet tunnel won't settle in when you hold in the drill or when you hold in the screwdriver. There's people that's making stuff like that, that's engineering stuff like that. So you know what I'm saying, he's right on point, and majority of that is white folks because we don't know anything about it.
Yeah. Like matter of fact, Tool and Die, one of the companies that CBI, I think Chicago Bridge and Iron, that's one of the ones, and like you said, that's probably damn near 95%. You know what I mean? Like Tool and Die, like the only like when the auto industry was really vibrant in Detroit, you might have had some black people doing it then, and they're still probably not anywhere near what it is with the Caucasians. And like I said, we before you called in, we were talking about like there's certain skills that are passed down intergenerationally through families, and they're closely held. I mean, and it's funny because the way that, you know, the laws are written, in order for you, for instance, like an appraiser, right? In order for you to become an appraiser, you have to do 2 years of herb work under someone else, get paid less than a third of what you normally would get if you were licensed, and you have to either do 2 years or so many thousands of hours, right? And so I think it's like $2,200, something crazy like that. The bottom line is that, you know, you have to have a lot of patience to deal with someone, you know, teach them this, and more than likely it's going to be someone that you care about, which is your family. But it's written, the law is written that you have to have this. Like, so you could go past the test and everything because it's a test for appraiser, but without the 2 years of experience as a trainee or apprentice, you go nowhere. You'll never be able to call yourself an appraiser.
Yo, you're right about that.
Which means you have to find a black appraiser to let you in because very few white appraisers want to divide the competition of the work among you.
Mhm.
You know, so
yeah,
that's
you're definitely
but you
right.
know, the biggest thing that comes down is finance. Most black families don't spend 2 hours a year on planning their financial future. Even if they spent the 2 hours,
the brother was talking about that earlier. The brother was talking about that earlier.
They don't know how to do it. I mean, God blessed me to. After I retired from the Army Corps of Engineers and the U.S. Department of Defense, a senator appointed me to work for the G7, and the G7 is the 7 top countries that controls the United Nations. In that, I was able to get into finance and learn how do you finance a power plant. If you have a large power plant for an African country that costs $2 billion, there's not a bank in the world that will loan you $2 billion. No bank can loan one project $2 billion. So you have to get investment bankers who know how to engineer money and stuff, leverage money. You have companies like Goldman Sachs, BlackRock, Merrill Lynch. They know how to take money and make 15 to 1 in 1 year.
Yeah.
You can hear that on Bloomberg every day.
The derivatives.
This company is valued 20 to 1. Yeah.
Yeah, they use derivatives.
So, if you don't know how to do that, and then somebody from Rockefeller's family take $100 million, and in 1 year he can get $15 million back, you can't catch up with him. I don't care if you have 5 jobs. You can't catch up with him. No. If you have people who think like Obama, who had $850 billion to bail America out, and he gave every fucking penny to white people. Not $1 billion of that $850 million he had went to black folks. I was one of the black committees who went up to him with a little broke group called the Urban League, asking him to give $2 billion to black folks for economic development. And he said that was a good idea. He would take it under consideration. But he gave the money to white folk, and those white banks bought up all the little banks. The big banks bought up all the little banks. The little banks who didn't join the big banks went under. He gave the money to General Motors, and General Motors made more Cadillacs, and who bought the damn Cadillacs? But they didn't have not one black supplier. So when you dump $850 billion into the white community, and you don't give it to the blacks, and then people start saying, well, the people who need food stamps are increasing, people who need Section 8 is increasing. Well, if you dump $850 billion in the black community, the white boys would be suffering on the other end of that stick.
Actually, when in 2008, when the housing bubble was going on and the job was getting slow, even in the construction site, the jobs was getting slow. Like the brothers from the Caribbean, and the brother was here. They have like you know what I'm saying. If you need sheetrock or metal framing, you know what I'm saying, done, you would call the brother from the Caribbean. You know, it was they almost had a monopoly on putting up sheetrock. But this is the first time I ever saw white boys putting up sheetrock and framing. This is during when it was getting when the job was getting slow. This is during in 2008, about 2008, 2009. It was going on. And I was noticing it was more white boys doing sheetrock and framing. And a lot of brothers, it got to the point, and this is what I understand, now it got to the point of not what you know, is who you know. And, you know what I'm saying?
You got white boys taking their shirts off doing roofing. You got white boys taking their shirts off doing roofing because they don't want to split the monies with blacks. And then you got bastards like Donald Trump saying black folks are lazy.
Oh, I don't understand. I never saw that. I just saw it when they got kicked out of the industry. I saw a lot of brothers and sisters got kicked out of the industry, and a lot of white folks started picking up their job. That's exactly what I saw. Because I'm telling you, when it came down to framing, when it came down to putting up sheetrock, when it came down to doing precast, doing the precast for outside commercial buildings, it was a lot of brothers. There was a lot of brothers who was doing that. But when when the jobs started getting slow, I saw a lot of white folks started doing sheetrock, started doing framing, man. And I was surprised.
Those are skills that we need to get into, using metal studs instead of wood studs. Nobody wants to put up wood studs that termites gonna eat up or water gonna rot away. You know,
I'm happy the brother said that. That's exactly that. See, I don't understand the reason why people are still, you know what I'm saying, building homes with wood. That don't make any sense, man.
Well, you know what? Now this is an interesting conversation because I've known this for years, but you know, there's a concept of it's actually planned obsolescence in this economy. See, the dudes who planned this shit out 50, 60 years ago, the United States, well, go back over 100 years, the United States is a very utilitarian society, right? So they only buy things because they need them. So what they've done in the United States, even though they created warranties, every product has a period of time where they become obsolete, so that way you can encourage future consumption. Because if you think about it, right, the way a house is built in this country is ass backwards. Like, right now, metal prices, you can get metal to frame a house for about the price you could for lumber, or in some cases less, if you have a good supplier. So, like, for me, my future home is not going to be wood framed. It's going to be metal. And when
metal is cheaper than wood.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Metal is cheaper than wood.
That's exactly what I was getting at, is that you can frame a house, right, and make sure it can be completely termite-free. I mean, there's technology now through modular that you can build that house, in some cases, for 30% less, and it still get the same local state building codes that, traditionally framed house gets at, so you got a 70% of the traditional stick-built cost, but you get the full value. I mean, that's the type of stuff that's out there. A lot of people realize, and it's because of the way the United States is set up, is, because we have debt that can be made as money, and to get people to consume more, you have to have functional obsolescence on every product. So you have a certain life cycle.
You mentioned that on one of the earlier shows, the modular framed housing.
Modular frames,
Yeah, I remember that you was talking about that before. I remember that you was talking about before, like when you was doing, if you want to sell your home, it is a framing or it's non, you know what I'm saying, it's non-framing. I remember you was talking about that before.
Modular homes are better than traditional built homes because modular homes can only have about a fourth of an inch of error rate, whereas traditional houses can have 2-inch error rate. After Katrina, my company built 3,500 houses. Some of them were precast concrete. Most of them were built using metal studs. And a lot of folks required to have their houses built out of wood. They wanted it done, so we did it. But if you put all of your framing together with metal studs, you can put a house up in 5 days.
Yeah. Matter of fact, you're an engineer, right?
I've had engineering management.
You have some understanding about it, am I right?
Yes. I've had engineering management.
Okay, so this is exactly what we're talking about, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm just a regular carpenter, you know what I'm saying? I know, but you write in exactly about that information. You know, and I agree with you, see? This is the stuff that,
we built 3,500 houses in New Orleans, Louisiana, and Mississippi. Most of them were built using different type of technology, modular and metal studs. Metal studs are actually cheaper than wood. 2x4 is you buy for wood.
Yes, it is, and yes, it is. Depending on the gauge, but most likely you're going to go with the 20 gauge. You know what I'm saying? Most likely you're going to go with the 20 gauge. But also, you know what I'm saying, depending on the gauge. But the metal is a whole lot cheaper and it's a lot faster to throw up. It's a lot faster to throw up.
But it requires a different skill level.
Yeah, you're right about that because it all come up under commercial work. Because in commercial work, you know what I'm saying, majority of our work is metal. So so that's what they're going to do. It requires a particular skill, but you know what I'm saying. You can learn that. You know what I'm saying. Apprentice can learn that really quick. There's no problem with that. And that's what comes with the infrastructure, man. That's how easy how we could build our infrastructure.
Hey, John, just wanted to give everyone, so it's at the 3-minute warning. We got it's almost 3:30 and it's a 2-hour show. So hold up, you want to close out the show with that clip from America's a Business? Hold up, yeah.
You are a cynical bastard, you know that?
Okay.
To reclaim the American dream and reaffirm that fundamental truth that out of many we are one.
You hear that line? Line's for you. Don't make me laugh. We're one people. It's a myth created by Thomas Jefferson. Oh, now you're gonna have a go at Jefferson, huh? My friend, Jefferson's an American saint because he wrote the words, all men are created equal. Words he clearly didn't believe since he allowed his own children to live in slavery. He was a rich wine snob who was sick of paying taxes to the Brits. So yeah, he wrote some lovely words and aroused the rabble, and they went out and died for those words, while he sat back and drank his wine and fucked his slave girl. This guy wants to tell me we're living in a community. Don't make me laugh. I'm living in America, and in America you're on your own. America's not a country. It's just a business. Now fucking pay me.
Trying to get that all. Oh!
Hello?
Yeah.
Great show, guys.
Yeah, man. Yeah, like I said, I hope everyone got something out of it. Like I said, just to reiterate, it's tongue in cheek. We just I felt like it's something that needs to be said. A 4-year degree is not a be all, end all, and is not a solution for everyone. And I would, go on to say that, people will be better served looking to find out what the needs are in the economy and figure out a way to manipulate that to get a skill set that they can benefit from and they can pass on to their heirs. So we can go into the overtime. Anyone got anything else they want to add?
Pretty much, like you know what I'm saying. It's a lot of really good skills that you know what I'm saying, that you could develop and get certified in. You know what I'm saying, in the trade. In the trade, you don't really have to think about if you know what I'm saying. If you're a high school student and high school is not your game, most likely college is not your game. Get into the trade. Get into the trade, and it's a lot of skills, and you could make a living out of that and branch off to anything that you want to do.
I have one last thing to say.
Yeah.
Bitch, it ain't what you're thinking. It ain't a damn thing about what you're thinking. Fuck your thoughts.
I think that says it all.
Yo,
that's my dude for life right there, man.
Yo,
drop the mic.
My greetings gonna always be greetings and brothers and sisters. Land, infrastructure, nationhood is our salvation. That's it.
Whoa.
That's my answer to every question that you got.
Yo. That's it, son. Well, yo, it's been real. It's been fun. It's been real fun. If there's any questions, hit us up on the Ning site. You know what I mean? Because after a while, we probably going to move off of Facebook, get away from the sucker shit. So, just start hitting us up on the Ning site. You know what I mean? Yeah, I ain't trying to do all the sucker shit on Facebook. That's all fuck with it. There's too many thumb thugs and shit like that. You know what I mean? So, so get at us. Like I said, we appreciate y'all coming out and listening and contributing.
Brother, let me say this real quick. Let me just say this. I'm just happy that, you know what I'm saying, it's the best thing, you know what I'm saying, the best thing to know that you got regular brothers, you know what I'm saying, you talk about chicks, you know what I mean, you talk about, you know what I'm saying, you talk about other things besides infrastructure, that will bring my heart back, because that let me know that y'all regular dudes, man.
Exactly.
You're regular peoples, man, you know what I mean? You're regular people, so y'all bring my heart back.
check it out. You know what I say about that too is that, if somebody's just so much of a go hard and they're not trying to get some brains every once in a while, then their head gonna explode, son.
Colin,
they gonna spaz out.
I be bringing my high back when y'all was talking about chicks the other day. It was like, and it's funny because when I be spitting this knowledge to the sisters, the sisters be like, I hear you, but when you gonna give me some true black power? That brought my high back right there.
Exactly.
It happens to me all the time.
You know what I mean? Hold up. Please go to YouTube and find the African-centered ass.
What'd you say, Thomas?
Just find the YouTube clip. Remember, that was the show that me and you was talking about, African-centered ass. You gotta find that.
African-centered ass.
Oh, I tell you, man.
I might have to do a part 2 on that one.
You have to. Because that, that resonate with my other half. Be like, I be talking to chicks, we talking about this conscious stuff, but she want to know, when you going to lick these titties, man?
Yeah.
I hate you talking, but when you going to lick these titties?
We was on, John, let me bug you out. Let me bug you out, John. There's on the African-centered ass part 1. This is one of the funniest clips ever. So it was me and Holub, and I was talking about, like, when I was in school, there was this chick that was in the library, and I could just look at her and tell she wasn't from the United States. So I was like, you're from Africa, aren't you? You're not from here. She's like, oh, yeah, definitely, yeah. How do you know? And I told her the bullshit. I said, I could tell by your dialect. I threw a 200-yard pass, and she caught that shit. I smashed like a week later. It was.
That's exactly what I'm talking about, man. That's exactly what I'm talking. That's the same thing when I pushed up on the South African system.
That's the same thing. Don't get me started on that.
From South Africa, man.
Groupies. Holub got the groupies, right? Holub will be talking to chick and shit. Holub be saying, you be trying to, like, have some knowledge, and she'd be like, so when you gonna bust the dick out? Like,
exactly. They're looking at you, they're looking at the package. You're like, you know what? And you be thinking, let me knock this down and give it to Khalid Muhammad later on.
Exactly. You trying to kick knowledge? You trying to kick knowledge?
Bust you, motherfucker! I'm gonna bust your ass. You like
and that's the best thing. You know what I'm saying? We just regular people, man. You know what I'm saying? We just regular people, man. That's
very important,
right?
man.
Think about that, right? Go ahead. That's Raul?
I think it's Jonathan.
Yeah, it's John.
Oh, okay. Okay.
We don't have fun in Africa, that me.
Oh man, you know what I'm saying? We're just regular brothers talking. You know what I'm saying? Just shooting the breeze, man. But yeah, that you know what I'm saying? That's real, man. That's real, man.
Yeah. We try to be as balanced as we can, because, like I said, there's a dude. I'm not gonna say his name, right? But I'm gonna show you how funny some of this shit could be. So, all right. So, remember when we first learned about Thomas Rogers, right? I won't say the hype beast's name, right? But he's Thomas Rogers. And, now he is a masterful salesperson, because this dude got hyped into being like a keynote speaker at like a Pan-African conference where it was like Wells Fargo was there, like they were like,
Wells Fargo was at a Pan-African meeting?
Yes, it was crazy. He was like a keynote speaker, right? Come to find out, he ain't have Nathan. So what was crazy? There was a dude that we met through another acquaintance, and it's this dude he's from New York originally, but he lives out in the West Coast. He's supposed to be like a teacher somehow that school at Dominguez Hills. Well, anyway, the dude that I met, oddly enough, we were on this group conference call. He's like, yeah, you probably know my sister. She owns she owns a very successful restaurant here in the Charlotte area. So long story short, he's telling us about all these grand plans, how he's like, going like, he's got like 8 different companies under his corporate umbrella, and how he's going to, like, take over the oil industry and such and this, that. And everyone talks, but I'm going to bug you out. Everyone who talks about the dude says he's brilliant, but there's a fine line between brilliance and insanity, right? So long story short is all, he's telling us all this. Meanwhile, his sister's like, yeah, you know, he lost his first wife. Yeah, he's living at home with my mom's. But meanwhile, he's like, yeah, I'm about to get this charter jet flight. And his sister's like, yeah, you know, I had to lend him a couple $1,000. You know what I mean? Like, so he goes so hard that he's working on his, like, third wife, second wife.
Man.
So it's like, you know, when you're not balanced and, like, you go so hard, you know, you're bound to implode. It's like in the Wolf of Wall Street. Remember Holub in Wolf of Wall Street? Say, look, you're bound to implode. If you don't have,
that's another clip we got to put up.
Yeah,
so we got to find that clip.
Put that up, man. Holub, the first time I heard of you, when y'all was hoping that y'all did a debate with Nelly Fuller. You know what I'm saying? And everything, you know what I'm saying? And the way that you put, you know what I'm saying, nationhood, about how you articulate, you know what I'm saying? I was thinking of it, you know what I'm saying? The way, you know what I'm saying, I was thinking of it, but I didn't know how to bring it out. And that's exactly how I hook up with y'all brothers, man. Because, you know what I'm saying, I knew the bottom line was always nationhood, but I was never how to, you know what I'm saying, how to articulate that right there, man. And you know what I'm saying, I truly appreciate how you know what I'm saying, how you put it. And you know what I'm saying, when I did the research on you, because I had to do the research on you, I didn't know that, you know what I'm saying, you was on some BS. You know what I mean? And you know what I'm saying, the bottom line is, you know what I'm saying, and I was, you know what I'm saying, I always tell people, yo, it's not hard to, you know what I'm saying, it's not hard to be a Pan-Africanist. It's like, yo, if, you know what I'm saying, you think that you that we deserve a nation of our own, yes, okay, that's it. That's how you join. You know what I mean?
You know what's funny, John?
That's how you join. This shit is not rocket science, man.